Hello Year 12 and welcome to Lesson 3, Human Growth and Development. Today we're looking at how do physical and intellectual development change in childhood. So we're moving on now from infancy into childhood. If you look there at the starter activity, you can have a go at that and remind yourself what we did last couple of lessons. But I'm going to move on and look at the success criteria today. Identify fine and gross motor skills in childhood. Again, use your memory or use your textbooks if you need some help here. See if you can complete this table on your own, looking at the different skills that are learnt throughout the childhood stage. Okay. Now, when we're talking about childhood, we're talking about from the ages 2 up to 8. Okay, so notice the different physical developments that happen during this time. At the age of 3, the baby should, or infant should, on average, have learnt to climb stairs 1 foot at a time and be toilet trained. Okay, now these are gross motor skills. Okay, you could argue toilet training is a very gross motor skill, right? But the more fine motor skills will take many more years to develop. Okay, for example, colouring within the lines of a colouring book, tying shoelaces at the age of 6, painting and drawing at 7, joining up writing at the age of 8. Okay, so remember, in general, the fine motor skills take more time to develop. There are some examples here, like walking backwards easily. That's a gross motor skill, but it takes some coordination, so it's about the age of 5 for that one. Okay, here's some facts to do with the growth of the child, so you can look at that at home. Right, again, based on what we just looked at, have a go at this question at home and see if you can, from memory, get some of the fine motor skills that a child will learn over the next 6 years from the age of 4. So we're talking 4 till about 10. Okay. Here are some answers that you could have included. Okay, so referring to handling skills, becoming more precise, again drawing in detail, threading, the use of needles, because as we know all children sew all the time, colouring in more accurately, handwriting development, yeah, so all the things we were looking at before, managing button zips as well. Okay, so there's a few of the fine and gross motor skills that will develop over that time. Now let's look at how intelligence develops in childhood. Okay. A really good video, which I'll post at the bottom of this video, is about Piaget's stages of development. You'll remember from the last video we talked about the sensory motor stage between the ages of 0 and 2 years. That's during infancy, and we discussed how a baby will begin by about 18 months to have that concept of object permanence, okay, where it realizes an object doesn't disappear for good, it's just hidden behind another object. In this stage now for childhood, the pre-operational stage, we're going to be, especially if you look at this video, you can see examples of how a child will think. They're not thinking in a perfectly logical manner. Okay, there's a few examples on that video. You can look at it in your own time. One good example is when the girl has 2 cups, equal size cups, equal amount of juice in both of them. The lady then pours the contents of one of the cup into a higher, thinner glass, and the child now thinks that the one that's in a higher, thinner glass has more juice than the other one. Okay, so to us, this is obviously nonsense, and we can't believe that we ever thought in this way, but that's the way children think to begin with, and they have to learn the skills and the rules of logic as they go through this stage. Okay, so by about the age of 8, they will have developed better logical thinking. Okay, let's have a go at this question here. Khalifa can repeat nursery rhymes and count to 20. Describe how Khalifa is likely to develop intellectually over the next 6 years. Right, now before you say to yourself, I don't know, I haven't revised this yet, remember that you and me, we've all been children once before. So in a sense, we've all revised what it's like to be a child. We've done it for about 6 years, okay? So we can think back what it is, what intellectual skills we've developed over that time. Think about a child's ability to read, okay? So between the ages of 4 compared to 8 years of age, reading will improve, speaking will improve, they will be able to construct better sentences, their memory will improve, they'll be able to do maths better, okay? Adding and subtracting much better. So these are skills that we know just from our common sense and thinking about it. Okay, so look at the kind of things that we could say. Yeah, speech development, writing as well. We mentioned reading, numeracy, memory, problem solving, thinking logically. Okay, so think back to Piaget and the experiments done with those children. Okay, so remember to discuss things like that. Okay, concentration span increases. Sense of right and wrong. Yeah, you know, a 2-year-old doesn't know what right and wrong is really, but by the time they're 8, they're going to know what is right and what is wrong. Okay, and maybe a foreign language. Again, that's just another type of language. Okay, so these are things that you can write about when you get a question like this. Okay, that concludes our lesson for today. We've identified fine and gross motor skills in childhood. We've described using examples how intelligence develops in childhood. And we've outlined the main intellectual milestones and linked these to Piaget's cognitive development. Cognitive to be to do with thinking. Thanks guys, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.